It's honey extracting time, and I thought I'd show you how I do it. I've come up with this over the past year or two, and I try to do that. I do the crush and strain method, so I try to make it as simple as possible. I ended up purchasing off of horizontalhive.com Dr. Leo Sherskin, I believe, and this is a nice little honey press. And then what I do is I like to then just go ahead and strain it into, I got a tiny little strainer here that I put on top of the quart jars. So the goal then is to just flow the honey straight into there. It catches some of the wax. If there's a big piece or two or squeeze through here, it'll catch that. And then I've just got pure raw honey with possibly some pollen, etc. in it. And that's how I seem to like it the best. And it's the easiest to do. And really the only cleanup then is this right here. So another thing is I put parchment paper in the bottom. You don't have to do that, but I do it because I'm doing it by myself here, and then all I have to do is lift this up to quit the flow going into quarts whenever I'm changing to another quart. So that's how I do it. I'll watch me here, and I'm currently harvesting some Top Bar honey. And what I like about it is I can take it straight from the Top Bar hive, put it in my little carrier here, and then just bring this on in to the press. And all I have to do then is cut sections off like this. Processing honey for me is about like painting. I get it all over myself, so this so far has been a really easy way to keep down the mess. So what I'll do is I'll take a couple bars and put them in here. Person could probably put maybe 3 frames in here pretty easily and squeeze it. I don't like to get it too high, so I only fill it about half full here maybe. Press that out and then work on some more. Another one here. I love how the Top Bar hive builds their comb. Real easy to work with. Again, you may not get as much honey out of a Top Bar hive, but as far as processing, I think, and ease of working the hive, it's pretty dang good for a small-time beekeeper. Again, if you are doing this for a living or want to sell lots of honey, you're not going to get near as much honey in a Top Bar hive, or maybe even the lay-ins too. I'm working on the lay-ins, and the honey just wasn't ready to process on that one just yet, so I'm just currently working on the harvesting the Top Bar. Again, my goal is to try to keep a lot of the honey off of me and off the floor and everywhere else. So, what we'll do now is take that. I do bring paper towels because I need them. Pretty simple then. You just has a little knob here that you tighten up with an arm. And then you just basically start pressing down the honeycomb. I never wanted to get an extractor and have to go through all that. And I used to just do the crush and strain method with my hands, rubber gloves, let's say, and then the two petition strainer that you can get at most of your supply places. It catches all the wax and even a pretty fine screen on the bottom half. And that was probably catching a little bit of the pollen or so that may get in there. And that's why I decided I'd like to try this method. And again, keep as much honey as possible. The raw, pollen-filled, etc. honey. So this part here is pretty simple. I've got it tilted a little bit, some blocks of wood back there. Of course, I clamped it down just so I wouldn't knock it off the bench. But then we let the honey start flowing here. My hopes are too, with my new Layens hives, again, I didn't put foundation in them. I'm working on a way that the bees will make the comb in there just right, and I'll bring them in here too and just cut out sections and drop it into the thing and press it and fill up the quart jars. Hopefully I'll be able to go out there and get some of that here into September, in the beginning of September. It was just not all capped. They had several frames that needed to be filled up, finished, and dehydrated and capped. It's been a heck of a year for beekeeping. This is my 5th season, and I've never had temperatures as hot and issues with hive beetles. Hive beetles started almost in, it seemed like, end of April. I noticed signs of hive beetles, and then we had those 110 heat index days for several weeks. I think that was in June into July. It was just terrible, terrible. Caused some comb collapse. That is an issue when you do foundation on those frames, but I'm working on that, and Dr. Leo shows some interesting ways to keep your hive cooler in the summertime, so I'll be doing that next year also. When it's said and done here, again, the only thing I really have to worry about is taking the wax out, and since I use this parchment paper here, it's easy to get off the bottom and get it scraped off the paddle wheel here. And I'll set it out, let the bees clean it up a little bit, and then wash it off. Wash this off and press a little bit, and put it back together, cover it up, and get it out again the next time. Really nice little setup. It is a little expensive, but it's all stainless steel. I think it comes from Italy, and it all lasts many years. It looks like you could press a few other things too if you want to. Apples, I don't know, it's a pretty nice little press. I've taken away the strainer just so you could kind of get an idea of what's happening here. Pretty simple, of course. You can see squeezing the press a little bit at a time. She's oozing out just nice and slow, and she's filling up the quart jar. It does take a little bit longer with this little strainer on, and in the past I have just put it in the quart, and all the wax, if there is any kind of little pieces of wax, they'll float to the top and you can scrape them off. It will go a lot quicker than to let this little strainer here catch it. It just takes time. Honey's slow. Well, there it is, folks. Minimal mess for me. Anyway, hopefully this is the outcome. It's settling out, so it'll be a nice, pretty golden color. So that about wraps it up. I've still got a few more quarts to fill here. It's an amazing gift that God has given us, honey, used for many, many things. As always, thanks again for watching, and God bless.